Stage is set, everyone. Championship weekend features 49ers and Eagles in the NFC and Bengals and Chiefs in the AFC. But first, the guys will tell you exactly how all four teams came out victorious during the divisional round. Thanks for joining Durp and Kevin for another episode of the Purple Huddle Podcast. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's happening?
Not much here. My blood pressure low. My team ain't play. Our draft position was set, so nothing really impacted me this weekend to, make me piss me off. I'm good.
Only one stupid thing did for me, but that's watching stupid mock drafts. They have Ravens picking a quarterback 23.
I saw that. Yeah, I was telling Durp, I think Durp saw the same one too. I didn't go Todd. No,
it was Bucky Brooks. Bucky Brooks from NFL.
But ESPN. Who's the guy? Mel Kiper. He put out one this morning. I didn't get to see it yet. So
yeah, I haven't seen Kiper yet. I just thought Brooks before we jumped on
him and Daniel Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's turn our attention to the games. What's going on? What happened over the weekend? Mahomes left and Mahomes returned. Chiefs sent the Jaguars back to Duval County after a 27-20 win.
Yeah, that was a hard-fought game. I'm surprised the Jags gave Kansas City the fight that they did, because I thought for sure Kansas City was just going to, especially at home in divisional round, I thought for sure Kansas City was just going to blow them out. But, Trevor Lawrence and that team proved that they're not going anywhere. And they might be, you might see them in the playoffs again next year. I mean, Lawrence went 2 for 24, 39, 217, 5.6 average, with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked twice, but you can't really put that on him. You got to put that more on the offensive line. And then Mahomes, that man played with a high ankle sprain. Still won 22 for 30, 195, and 2 touchdowns. And he relied on the running game as well. Fecco got 12 for 95. So I mean, Kansas City, yeah, they just didn't seem like they were the normal dominant Kansas City team that we normally see. They struggled a little bit on offense. They definitely struggled at first on defense. But we'll see what happens next week with Mahomes' high ankle sprain when they go against Cincy. What do you got, Durp?
Yeah, I think this was just a hard-fought game between two teams. One team that's just getting good and one team that's been good for a really long time. This 5 straight AFC championships for the Chiefs. Yeah, 5 straight.
Yeah, it's number 5.
Yeah, so they just know what they're doing. The Jaguars are a young, good team. I think they're going to be around for a while. At least I hope. We've seen before in 2017 when they made the playoffs and they completely fell off the face of the earth. That's why they have Trevor Lawrence. I've said before, the Jaguars are kind of like, they remind me of the Lions, as where like they'll pop every once in a while and then they don't really know how to stay good. So then they kind of fall off. So I'm hoping that they can use this as some traction and keep it going. As far as the Chiefs, I think, what more can you say about them? I mean, Patrick Mahomes goes down with that gruesome injury. When they kept showing it, I was like, oh, he broke his ankle. He broke something. And then Chad Henne comes in and takes him on, a 98-yard drive like it's nothing.
Yep.
Scores a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes comes in limping, and he's better than, 3/4 of the league on 1 foot. So they didn't really miss a beat. Travis Kelce, you hear a lot of talk about the greatest tight ends ever. I feel like he's starting to be talked about it now. Here recently, 14 catches in a playoff game, 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. It just speaks volumes how they lost Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes comes in, probably going to be MVP. I think he put up close to, if not over 5,000 yards, had the most passing touchdowns. So even with the high ankle sprain, I think that, they're going to be good going in against the Bengals. And that's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a really good game next week.
Yeah, my only question about that is they've never beaten the Bengals.
Yeah, I know.
He's 0-3 against them. So, I mean, and yeah, they're at home, but with that high ankle sprain, 1, is he going to play? And 2, is he going to?
Oh, he'll be out there.
He's 2,000% playing.
Yeah.
But is he going to be up to par though? I mean,
That might be a
You
question,
know.
but he'll definitely be out there.
I mean, like I said, if he's that good on 1 foot, he'll be out there. He might not be
Yep.
doing the run around magic trick shit that he's doing before, but they don't
Right.
have the O line like they did against the Bucks. The Bengals defense has been playing good, but like I said, I'd take Mahomes on 1 foot over probably 3/4 of the
Oh, yeah,
quarterbacks
no
in the
doubt.
league right now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, the Bengals defensive players on the sideline, they were saying that they were we'll see y'all in Burrowhead instead of Arrowhead because
Yeah.
all he does is go up there.
Oh,
All he does is go up there and win.
Damn.
So
That's a good one.
yeah, we'll see.
That's a good one. I like that. All right. Turning our attention to the first NFC matchup of this past weekend, Durp's division rivals. They battled on Saturday night. Well, at least they tried to, everyone. Eagles won 38-7 over the G-Men. They're on to the next.
Yeah, I think this is much like I said on the other one, about the last game. This is just a really good team that ran into a team that's starting to catch some traction. Nobody expected the Giants to make it this far, and nobody expected the Giants to win this game. So I still think that the Giants fans can hold your head high, thinking you came into the year probably thinking we're winning 5-6 games max. You end up making it this deep into the playoffs. 3 teams from the NFC East went. They have a lot of answers, a lot of questions to answer though. With Saquon's situation, he wants to be paid like Christian McCaffrey money. I don't know if he's worth that. He's been durable here lately. He had his best freshman year ever, but I don't know if they're going to give him that. Then you got the Daniel Jones situation. You got the Kenny Galladay contract situation. But Brian Daboll has turned this team around. I think, unfortunately, they're headed in the right direction. And the Eagles, I mean, what more can you say? I think that they just have a lot of players who, like, if they weren't on the Eagles, you'd be like, I could see him as an Eagle. Jalen Hurts always talking about this inspirational stuff like that. Just, he seems like he's 100% football. Sirianni is that, fuck you, coach. Like, we're going to come in, we're going to beat down on your team. I'm going to talk shit while we're doing it. There's nothing you can do about it. They can run the ball. They have one of the best defenses in the league. So I think that everything's just clicking for them right now. And I believe that it's going to stay that way for a while.
Yeah, this was definitely one of your David versus Goliath, but unfortunately, Goliath won this one. The Eagles are just a hot team right now. They're just running rough shot over everybody, and it's almost like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you our game plan, and you're still not going to be able to stop. Because if you think about it, the Giants, if anybody should have known their game plan, it should be the Giants because they play them twice a year. And it's almost like, yep, we're going to do the same thing we did. We dare you to stop us, and they can't.
Definitely.
And then, like you said, the Giants made it this far, but they got so many questions. With Jones and Barkley, and like I said, I was the one said at the beginning of the season, what are they going to, if Daniel Jones makes it to the playoffs? What are they going to, do you think they're going to regret not picking up that 5th-year option? And you all told me they ain't going to make it to the playoffs. But Jalen Hurts, man, this kid's a beast. And then Kenny Gainwell, 12 carries for 112 yards. I mean, he put that team on his back with the carries as well. But now you're talking about what we got: Eagles and got Eagles 49ers. That's going to be a test for both teams. Definitely going to be a test for both teams. But this is how I thought the Jacksonville Kansas City game was going to be.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought the Jacksonville Kansas City game was going to be. I thought it was going to be a blowout because, again, young up and coming team, a team that's been there, done that, and how hard it is to play an Arrowhead.
True.
I thought for sure that was going to be that one, but it surprised me. Plus, the Giants are used to losing this game. I mean, they did it against Ravens in the Super Bowl, so.
The game could have ended up like that if Mahomes hadn't have got hurt because he was
Perhaps, yeah.
He was looking real good up until that point, so they could have kept firing on all cylinders, but we'll never know.
All right. So home field advantage in the snow did nothing for the Bills on Sunday afternoon. Bengals came in -3 offensive linemen. They still won 27-10.
Yeah, who would crazy, isn't it? It really is, because I thought for sure Buffalo was going to tear them apart. I figured, with the kid, with that young kid. Oh, I can't remember his name. Forgive
Josh
me, guys.
Allen?
I'm doing. No, with the one that got hurt. The
Oh,
one
DeMar. Yeah, he was at the
Lamar
game.
Yeah,
Hamlin.
yeah, with Hamlin being in the stadium, with that snow coming down,
Yeah.
with that crowd being tight, I thought for sure the Buffalo was going to come out and just absolutely put their foot up the ass of the Bengals, and they came out flat. It's crazy. Even Allen even going 25 for 42 for 265. One interception, no touchdowns. When have you ever seen that out of Josh Allen? It was like, I think they like totally overlooked the Bengals and like, oh yeah, we got this. This is easy. This is going to either that or their heads just weren't in the game. Because when you let Burrow go 23 for 36 for 262 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then you let Mixon rush for over 100 and then get a touchdown, and then you got then Big Chase and Hayden Hurst get a touchdown. It's like it was almost like they couldn't stop them even if they wanted to. And Hayden Hurst, it seemed like they forgot all about him, because every time you look around, there's Hurst wide open. There's Hurst again wide open. They didn't have an answer for him. It was great. I feel like I was watching the Ravens play Ravens play Cincy. But now since he's back in the title game, and see what they can do. What do you got, Durp?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a team come out more flat than how the Bills came out starting this game. I had the Bengals winning this, but not by this fashion. I thought it would be a late drive by Burrow or something like that. But the Bengals came out, and it at no point did they not have the momentum. It was just their game their entire way. Joe Burrow, you hear commentators or whoever talk about it all the time. Why they call him Joe Cool. He's always so calm in the pocket, never really seems to get rattled. And this whole situation of them getting him Jamar Chase, a guy he played with in college, is paying off so beautifully. It just seems that connection is one of the best in the league right now. The Bengals defense is firing on all cylinders. And it's just wild how the Rams had that Super Bowl hangover and the Bills are just right back in it after starting 0-2, mind you.
True.
I feel like Josh Allen is I'm not going to say hyped up, because he's very good. He has all the arm talent in the world, but I feel like the media does kind of pump him up at times, because they win all these games, but a lot of times I feel like Josh Allen just tries to do too much. And that's where a lot of his turnovers generate from. He tries to be Superman at all times. They didn't really click on any cylinders. They attempted running the ball, didn't really get much out of it. I think even Stephon Diggs was targeted like 11 times. He only had like 4 catches. So this team, like I said, they came out flat, never really got the momentum. The Bengals came to handle business. I'm sure it made it even better for them wearing those white jerseys in the snow. So
Yeah, no, right.
yeah, so we got another heavyweight title coming up with them and the Chiefs. It's gonna be good.
All right. So, moment we've all been waiting for. Dallas and San Francisco. They're in Santa Clara. Gonna go a little off script here. We had the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. The kicker redeemed himself, but it's not good when your own the people in your own state aren't for your team, I guess, in a sense. He tweeted out after that block, quote, "I swear I can kick as good as the Dallas Cowboys kicker." And then a couple minutes before that, the mayor, Eric Johnson of Dallas, he said, "Attention, Dallas Cowboys. and he tagged him in on Twitter, by the way, everyone. He said, quote, "This is your mayor speaking. No more kicking, hashtag Cowboy Nation." And the police chief also liked that tweet. So,
Jesus God.
another tough break for the Cowboys. How you feeling about this game, Durp?
I mean, like, I was hopeful, but I expected it. At the end of the day, they're just a better team. It sucks to say because they're that rivalry is, coming back and everything like that. But as of right now, they're just a better team. I said in the group chat, I feel like Mike McCarthy's not all that tough, and at times it rubs off on our team. Their defense came to play, so did ours, but unfortunately their offense came to play. So it was a pretty close, tight game the entire time. Once again, Dak, he's cost us the game, the 2 interceptions. I mean, the one was tipped up, caught by Fred Warner. The other one, you look back on it, Michael Gallup kind of stopped running his route, but at the same time, I think Dak should have never thrown that ball to begin with. Excuses. It is what it is. I'm kind of at the point where it's a tough situation because I've never really been that big on Dak, but I know at the same time he's better than he's a middle tier quarterback.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him than a Baker Mayfield or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm at the point now where I'm like, man, I really wish we could get rid of this guy. I know we gave him this big contract and he's been here and we've been to the playoffs and all this other stuff, but it just seems like at this point he doesn't have that it factor to get us over that hump. But at the same time, what are you going to get rid of him for? You're going to send him to the Jets and then get like a Zach Wilson back? I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So at this point, you're kind of stuck with him. So I think instead of, dumping and be like, oh, whatever, all these people out here doing that clown shit where they burn their jerseys and everything like that, you'll be rooting for the same team next year. You can say you're a Bucs fan or whatever. You'll be repping the Cowboys next year. I think that they need to start building around Dak more. Yes, we have CD, but we had to get him ready behind Amari Cooper. Then you get rid of Amari Cooper. You get rid of La'el Collins. You're getting rid of these things that Dak needs around him to succeed. I like Michael Gallup as much as the next guy, but I feel like we need a better guy over there because CD Lamb emerged this year, but there's only so much that CD can do.
Mm-hmm.
The running game, Zeke wants to come back, but on a restructured contract. I'm at the point where it's like, I love you, Zeke. You were good for so long, but we got to let you go, bro. Like, what are you really doing? You're out here getting 2 yards in a cloud of dust every once in a while. Right. Pollard with the injury, we're gonna have to tag him. Maybe we can work something out now. Let Zeke walk or restructure Zeke. Maybe tag Dalton Schultz again. He's probably gonna leave, so I think that we need to continue with this defense and build around Dak instead of blaming him as much as we do, even though sometimes it's warranted. And yeah, the 49ers, this Brock Purdy situation is crazy to witness. We'll see how it goes in the championship.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to say is like, when you said about Zeke, it's great to see you go, but bye. But that's what I was going to say. You don't know what Pollard's going to be like coming back after a broken leg. I mean, we saw it with the Ravens. Their guys came back too early and went down again. So you definitely have got a good running back in Zeke that needs to be serviceable and give Brock time and I'll give a Pollard time to heal. But dang it, man, your boys cost me $200.
Sorry to hear that.
Boys cost me $200. I thought for sure they were going to go. They had me believing. They had me pumped. They had me thinking they were going to go to San Francisco and put a foot in their ass and nothing. Nothing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
I didn't even take the points. I put money on the straight up elimination money winner. But no, it was definitely an interesting game. I mean, nobody really dominated the game as far as offense because if you look at Dallas, they got a touchdown, 2 field goals, and what was it? And it was what? It was a touch. It was 10 points in the fourth quarter that really decided the game. decided by a touchdown. So I mean, Cowboys can't be too pissed. You know, I mean, they after losing Pollard and Dak didn't really have his best game. It wasn't like they were blown out of the water. It came down to a touchdown. But as far as Brock Purdy in that situation, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see in this championship game what Mr. Irrelevant can do and what he can do against the Eagles. Is it going to be the Cinderella season for San Fran where Mr. Irrelevant goes to the Super Bowl, or are they going to hit a wall in this dominating Eagles team? Me personally, I think this is a relative story for San Fran. I can't see where anybody's going to be. I can't see where anybody's going to beat the Eagles at this point, but we'll hold that off for later.
Yeah. One more thing I will add though is I think this team needs some rearrangement on the coaching staff for the Cowboys. I'm not as hard on McCarthy as I was at the beginning of the year. He did do a good job, but like I said, I do think that he's soft in sometimes, and it kind of rubs off on our team the wrong way. So, in my opinion, I believe that what would be best for the Cowboys would be to fire Mike McCarthy, then upgrade Dan Quinn from the D coordinator to our head coach, then take Al Harris, who's our defensive backs coach, make him our defensive coordinator, and then go out and get offensive coordinator that just got fired from the Bucks, Byron Leftwich. Go and get him and make him our offensive coordinator. I feel like that would fix a lot of things, but that obviously won't happen.
Yeah, I got bad news for you, bud. Your owner / GM already came out and said everybody's job is safe for next year.
Well, Dan Quinn won't be here, and hopefully Kellen Moore won't either.
Speaking of coaches, what are your thoughts from a legit Cowboys fan on the final play? Because I already know based off what we saw the text, but
I instantly hit y'all and was like, all I could say was, "What the fuck was that?" Like back, what was it, a couple years ago when the Colts did that shit against the fucking Patriots, where they had the one guy snap the ball. Like it didn't make sense. We came out there, I was like, "Why the fuck is Zeke?" Yeah, I was like, "Why the fuck is Zeke holding the ball right now?" And then I was like, "No way, we really snapped this," and he did. He snapped it, and I was like, "What the fuck did y'all really think was about to happen? Some like crazy Disney Channel shit where you drop back and throw it, and CD comes down with it?" So I have no idea. Hopefully, that was the last offensive play that Kellen Moore ever called for the Dallas Cowboys. I hope to God the fucking Panthers call him and hire him tomorrow.
Oh my God,
Kevin, your thoughts on the final play?
And I looked at that and said, he just went to Brian Billick school of coaching. Yeah, that's some dumb shit Billick would have done. I don't get it. I'm just as dumbfounded as you guys are. I was looking at there too. I'm like, why is he having the ball? And then they snapped it. I'm like, he's not a quarterback. Where am I seeing shit? Nah, that was just the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Y'all know what kind of made it worse. Sorry, Kevin, were you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, what made it worse was that, Tampa called timeout. So they were sold on that play.
Yeah.
Like they weren't moving from it. They came back out of the timeout, same damn formation. And then it happened. It's like you would think they, obviously, again, they were sold on it. They were determined it was going to work. But
they were hell bent it was going to work.
Yeah.
Well, they at the press conference after the game, they asked Mike McCarthy, like, well, what was the thought process? And he came out there and all he could say was, well, it's a play that we've practiced before. No shit. No fucking. I think every play that you have in your book is a fucking play that you've practiced before. What kind of answer is that? Even he didn't even know what the fuck to say. So
I'm glad you saw the press conference because I was waiting to see it and I was like, man, I got to do some work, so I couldn't get to stick around for it.
I'm thinking this is not going to. This is not going to happen. Anything.
And just as you thought last year's game, their season couldn't end any worse. They top it off this year as far as
Kellen Moore said, "Watch this." You think I can't do no worse than a quarterback draw with 14 seconds left? Watch this. Zeke, get out there and snap the ball.
You think that was bad? Here, hold my beer. I got one.
Oh man, that's good. All right, I'm going to take a quick detour out of Durp's playbook. I got 2 rapid fire questions for y'all. Another former Patriots assistant coach is going back home to New England, to Foxborough. Billy O'Brien's going to be reunited with his college quarterback.
Mac
I'm
Jones.
getting the brain. Thank you, mac and cheese. And
Like,
how do y'all feel about that reunion? Will it help? I mean, because obviously the criticism all year is that he didn't have a proper offensive play caller, a proper offensive mind in his ear. We saw a step back from his rookie season into this past season was the sophomore campaign. How do you think his junior year will go in the NFL?
You want me to take this one first?
Sure.
It's gonna all depend. I like Bill O'Brien and yeah, he had a great college career, right? But the thing is that even with O'Brien coming back home, is Belichick going to be arrogant enough to step back and let Bill O'Brien take the full reins of this offense? If he does, then you're definitely going to see Mac Jones take maybe 5, 10, 20, even 30 steps, a 30 step stride than he was this year. Because Bill O'Brien knows this kid, he knows him inside and out, knows his strengths, his weaknesses, how to line the guys up to get the best out of him. If Belichick does not, then it's going to be a loss. It's going to be a waste of hire. But Belichick's got to stay out of it. He's got to back off. He's got to, cut his ego. Let O'Brien take full reign of that offense. Let him mold it. Let him adjust it. Let him do whatever he needs to do. If he does, then yeah, I think Mac Jones is going to be great. If he doesn't, then I think it's not going to be. It wasn't even worth the hire.
Yeah, I think it's not going to matter at all. That to be honest with you, Bill O'Brien has never helped anybody in his NFL career except for maybe DeAndre Hopkins get away from the Texans and then land on the Cardinals. And now, if he comes back to the Patriots, he'll not back to the Patriots, but now if D Hop ends up getting traded to the Patriots, he'll be having to deal with Bill O'Brien all over again. So,
yeah, that's right.
yeah. So I think that unless the Patriots go out and get Mac Jones more offensive weapons, it's not gonna matter. Like they're a very defensive carried team. Of course, it's a Bill Belichick team. The defense will always be good as long as he's there. But if you don't get Mac Jones, somebody other than like Jacoby Myers, and that's not a slight at him. I think he's good, but he's not a number 1 receiver in this league.
True.
He's a complimentary player. They can only rely on the running game so much. I mean, they tried to do it this year, and both of their running backs ended up getting hurt to the point where they were starting, 3rd string running backs. So I don't think Bill O'Brien's going to fix much of anything going there, to be honest with you.
All right. One more question. Stay in the AFC East on the East Coast. Diggs and Allen. Is it the beginning of the end of the marriage there in Buffalo, or was that just a overblown situation?
I think that was just frustration peaking at the wrong time. And instead of holding the tongue, somebody said something stupid. Because from what I understand, they've already talked, they've already made up, and they're both good to go. I think it was just, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was just his emotions getting the best of him. I mean, they've showed many a times, or at least I've seen how good of friends Josh Allen and Diggs are. So I think this was just like you said, a bad moment caught on camera. Even on the Thanksgiving game, Josh Allen told Diggs he was thankful for him. Diggs reiterated the same thing, but he started to choke up. That just shows you how much they mean to each other. I think this was just Diggs is just a passionate player. He's tired of getting that close and not achieving it. So I think they're going to be perfectly fine, and they'll still be a good duo for a while to come.
All right. Back to the quest for the Lombardi Trophy. It all comes down to this: championship weekend, win, and you go to the Super Bowl. NFC Championship will be the first game on Sunday afternoon. 49ers and Eagles, 3 p.m. Eastern time. AFC Championship will follow. Bengals at Chiefs, rematch of last year's AFC Championship, of course, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thoughts, picks, if any, and anything bold, Kevin?
Well, I think the Niners. I think, unfortunately, and I said it before. I think the Cinderella season for Brock Purdy and the 49ers come to an end. With the Eagles, I think the Eagles outmatch them offensively, defensively, special teams. Um, I think they're just too hot of a team right now, and I think and it's just gonna be a total buzzsaw. I'm not saying the 49ers are gonna get blown out. I think it's gonna be a good match. I just don't see them pulling it off. So when that end, I see the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl. Do you want my AFC matchup too? Or what about you, Durp? What do you see for NFC?
As far as the NFC, I agree with you. I think that this Brock Purdy thing is going to come to an end. I think it'll still be a close game because they're such a solid team on offense and defense. This will be a battle of two very good coaches between Shanahan and Sirianni. This will be two teams that run the ball well, two teams that stop the run well, two teams that pass the ball well. So I think it'll be a very good, evenly matched game. But I got probably the Eagles pulling away later on in the game and their offense sustaining the lead.
AFC title game. Did y'all give picks on that?
Okay, no, I didn't. Bengals Chiefs. God, you know, you would have asked me this one earlier. I would have told you the Chiefs. Now I'm not quite sure with that high ankle sprain with Mahomes. The fact that he's injured, the fact the Chiefs have yet to beat the Bengals. You know what? I'm gonna go off script on this one. I think the Chiefs still. I think they pulled out. I think even with the injured Mahomes, he finally gets that monkey off his back of not being able to beat the Bengals. And I think you got your. I think your Super Bowl's gonna be Eagles Chiefs.
I'm gonna keep riding with the Bengals. I think that they just have the Chiefs numbers. I think that they have the offensive firepower to keep up with the Chiefs and the defense to be able to, get a couple stops, a couple turnovers especially with the injured quarterback. And not only do I have the Bengals winning, but January 2nd, 1999, Eric Moulds of the Buffalo Bills in the wild card round against Miami. He put up 240 yards. I got Jamar Chase beating that, getting the most receiving yards in a playoff game ever. Maybe 245, 250, something like that.
Nice.
That's a stat line, an interesting stat line. I
That
remember
line,
Eric
I know,
Moulds.
right? I mean,
And didn't think
pulling
that he
out
would
the
be the
90s.
holder of that.
Yeah, I
Out of
was
all the
surprised
guys that have
myself.
played, the Jerry Rices of the world.
It's some weird guys on the list, like T.Y. Hilton and shit. Like some guys you wouldn't expect.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. You always come out with the stats. I don't know what the hell.
I know.
You like the Steve Mariucci. Be like, dun, dun,
I know he like this guy in 1947.
Yep.
And did this and this. Well, guess what? This time this guy did this and this.
All right, one more question before we go. Which one of these teams gonna hire a head coach first? Because it's usually that first domino, and then everybody else comes out within like 4 or 5 days, and it seems like they got their coach. So which franchise? You don't have to necessarily say a name unless you want to, but which franchise is gonna make the first move?
I think it'll be the Broncos with Sean Payton, and then I think the dominoes will start falling, and I think it'll be the Colts and then the Cardinals, because those are the ones who are doing interviews like crazy.
I have to agree with that because they're the only ones you're really hearing about is Broncos with Peyton and the Colts and Cardinals interviewing. You don't really hear about anybody else right now.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching the Fox pregame the other day, and I was like, "Damn, Sean Payton." He said the hell of Fox, and then like right towards the end of the show, they pulled him out, and because I thought he was like kind of like avoid being on the air because he was doing all the interviews and everything, but he was back on there. I think he really only like gave a quick pick. I think that's all the insight he gave at that point. I don't know if that's something he wanted to do or what. I know they've kind of had them in and out of their pregame all year. But yeah, that's going to be Sean Payton to Denver if that pans out. Definitely going to
Denver's
be
gonna have
interesting to
give up
see.
for him.
Can he
Yeah.
make that same turnaround like he did in New Orleans?
Yeah, I think a couple teams are going to make a mistake and see that other teams grabbing coaches and kind of go too quick.
Oh yeah, that's how it always goes.
Right. I think the Cardinals. I think they might be the one who end up getting Dan Quinn from us. That might be a good fit because they have a good defense there. And then I think a lot of teams are going to go too quick and miss out on D'Amico Ryans from the 49ers.
Yep.
And also with coaching, we haven't heard anything about Eric Bieniemy. Usually that's all you hear.
Just getting ready to mention him.
Yeah.
It seems like, because there's some people that be like, oh, I've heard in the past, like they said something about his past. I don't know, some sort of legal troubles he had or something. And I think, who knows? Because you never really know the full story. I think the main issue, from my opinion, is that Kansas City historically is deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So by the time, like Durp mentioned, that first coach gets hired and the other teams start rushing, they're not going to get that second or third interview with him if it even gets to the third, or not even going to try to hire him at that point. They're just going to go with somebody else. So
yeah, you seen the stuff that Shady McCoy said about him, right?
I think so.
He basically said that everybody
What did
talks
Shady
about
say about him? I didn't hear it.
he basically said that every year you hear Eric Bieniemy, and then it never happens. And he said that a big part of that is that players don't really like playing for him.
Oh, okay.
Because from what I understood from it,
Really?
he was basically saying that, like, when things go bad, Eric Bieniemy's quick to point a finger. And he played with the Chiefs, won that Super Bowl with them, even though he didn't do anything. But he was there and saw it firsthand. He said that a lot of players don't like playing for him. And earlier this year, we seen it. Remember when him and Patrick Mahomes were arguing, going off the field? Andy Reid had to break it up. Yeah, so
I know that a lot of people say he doesn't interview well at all.
Well,
like he comes off very cocky and very arrogant in interviews.
If the Chiefs go on and they fuck around and win the Super Bowl, Andy Reid might walk away.
That's what I'm thinking too.
He might just be upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Whenever Andy steps away, I think the job is his if he's still there. But when you first mentioned that Shady McCoy thing, I thought it was something kind of like negative, because I know he came out and said stuff about Andy too, not too long ago. So that did make sense.
Yeah. Shady McCoy can be a hater at times too. So
yeah, very, very interesting. All right, everyone. Thank you to all of our listeners. We really appreciate y'all. Big Sunday coming up. Get your beer ready. Get your popcorn ready, like T.O. used to say. This has been another production of the Purple Huddle Podcast. Enjoy championship weekend, everyone.